So, today we're going to dive into a leadership philosophy that completely flips the traditional power structure on its head. I mean, forget everything you think you know about top-down authority. We are exploring Robert K. Greenleaf's absolutely revolutionary concept, servant leadership.
Let's just start right there with that single question. What if the whole model of leadership we've been taught, command and control, isn't actually the best way to lead? What if real strength, true leadership, comes not from being in charge, but from a genuine, deep-down desire to serve? That one idea, that's the heart of everything we're about to unpack.
So here's how we're going to break it down. First, we'll get a handle on what servant leadership actually is. Then, we'll get practical and look at the key characteristics that make a servant leader. And finally, we'll talk about the impact, why this whole approach really, truly matters.
All right, let's dive into our first section. The key idea here is super powerful, and it's a great visual. It is all about flipping the classic pyramid of power upside down. Okay, this slide just lays it all out perfectly. On one side, you've got your traditional leadership pyramid, right? Power, control, the leader's ambition right at the top. But servant leadership, it just inverts the whole thing. The leader is now at the bottom, supporting the team. The focus shifts entirely to service, to growth, and to the well-being of the whole community. It's a complete 180 in perspective.
So here's the crucial takeaway. Under this philosophy, a leader's success isn't measured by their own power or their own status. No way! It's measured by the growth of the people they lead. You have to ask, are those people healthier, wiser, more autonomous, and are they more likely to become servants themselves? That, right there, is the real test of a servant leader.
And this quote from Greenleaf himself just nails it. His point is that this isn't some technique you can just switch on. It has to start with a natural feeling, a deep-seated desire to serve. To serve first. The choice to lead only comes later because it's the best way to help more people. That servant-first distinction, well, it's everything.
Okay, so what does this actually look like day to day, in practice? Let's get into our next section and really break this philosophy down into some core principles you can actually use.
We're going to explore 9 of them, but don't think of this as some kind of rigid checklist. Instead, think of them as interconnected behaviors that, when you put them all together, they really define this unique leadership style.
So, the first 3 principles are all about building the most important foundation for any team, a real, genuine human connection. Because honestly, without that, nothing else is going to work.
It all starts with deep, active listening. And I don't mean just waiting for your turn to talk. I mean listening to truly understand the spoken and even the unspoken needs of your team. When you do that, empathy just naturally flows from it, the ability to connect with what others are going through, and that leads to healing, creating an environment where people feel safe and supported enough to overcome challenges and become whole again.
All right, so the next group of principles, this is where we move from connection into action. This is all about how a servant leader guides and inspires, not by commanding, but through the much more powerful art of influence.
And this really begins with awareness, self-awareness. A great servant leader knows their own strengths, their weaknesses, their blind spots. From that place of clarity, they use persuasion, not their title or authority, to get everyone on the same page. They convince, they don't command. And they balance that with conceptualization, the ability to dream big, to see beyond the daily grind, and paint a compelling picture of the future that everyone wants to be a part of.
And the final 3 principles? Well, these are all about looking forward. They answer the big question. What is the long-term impact we're creating here? This is all about a commitment to building a lasting legacy.
Stewardship means you're acting like a caretaker, holding the organization in trust for the greater good. That naturally leads to a deep commitment to the growth of every single person on your team. And when you combine those 2 things, the result is inevitable. You get powerful community building. You create a place where people feel like they truly belong. That is the legacy of a servant leader.
So, we've defined the philosophy, we've broken down the principles. Now for the big finale, the most critical question. So what? Why does any of this actually matter? What's the real impact?
Well, the results they're pretty profound. This approach creates a culture that's just fundamentally more positive, more humane, where people feel genuinely valued. It empowers individuals to take risks, to grow, and to reach their full potential. This builds an incredible amount of trust, which strengthens not just the company, but the entire community. And the bottom line is, this isn't just a nice way to lead, it leads to more effective, and this is key, more sustainable success for everyone involved.
And that brings us to the final thought I want to leave you with. This isn't just some abstract theory for a big-shot CEO. It's a mindset. It's a set of principles that literally anyone can apply anywhere. So the real question is for you. In your life, at work, at home, in your community, what's one small thing you could do tomorrow to lead by serving?